Sun's coming up, drinks are hot, and now it's time for our first cup. Today, listen to men. Happy November. It's Men's Health Month. It's awesome. It's also a unique opportunity this week because not only is it Men's Health Month, but it's right before a federal election here in the United States for president and a whole bunch of other races too. Now, I'm not a single issue voter, but I understand people who are. You know, there's enough complexity in this world. There are enough gaps in knowledge, in belief, in understanding that it's really easy to overlook things that become really important in any person's life. And this election season, there are a lot of messages out there about the gaps we should be paying attention to. And to be clear, we shouldn't ignore those gaps. Nothing what I am about to say is to say that we should ignore other things. This is not a zero-sum sort of situation. This is the world is complex and we need to hold multiple truths in our hands at the same time sort of situation. I know it all comes down to a binary on election day, but hear me out. Our attention's been pushed in a lot of directions. Pay attention to this problem, that problem, this problem, that problem. And they're all important, yes. But there's one gap that I'm seeing no attention given to, and it is really important. And that's the issue of men's health in this country. Not only their health, but their well-being, their safety, their futures. The funny thing about this gap is that in the last couple of weeks, at least from my perspective, one party has been paying attention, mostly because of the electoral calculus, because of the electoral math, right? But, you know, this campaign thought, wow, we're running behind with men. Maybe we should reach out to them and address them and talk to them. And I get it, campaigns are complex beasts and you have to go after the most advantageous demographics. But this race, this year, is super close, which means that everybody matters. And while this campaign, the Harris campaign, has realized that they need to talk to men, they're not really good at it. It just kind of shows how unpracticed the understanding is of the issues facing a lot of men. And in fact, if you look at a lot of the ads put out by different PACs and different support groups for Harris, they're like that White Dudes for Harris ad that went around, the one that starts off by saying like, you know, if you're a white man or you're a man and you go on the internet, you're tired of being blamed for everything. Okay, good intro, but the entire rest of it is either, like, at best it's like a clueless uncle trying to talk to the kids, and at worst it's just dismissive of a lot of things that are genuine issues for a lot of men. I guess what I'm trying to say here is that even in a situation where a major political party in the United States realizes that talking to men is important, that getting their vote is important, nobody seems to know how to do it. And I think that's because not only politically, but culturally, we're a lot better talking at men than we are talking with them, or even better, listening to them. It's a lot easy to tell men what they're doing wrong, why they're doing wrong, who they need to platform, why they need to be paying attention to these other things, than it is to say, hey, what matters to you? Or to ask, hey, what can we do for you, with you? And that's just the brutal reality on display right now. If you don't believe me, just go and look at any of the Harris campaign ads. And don't even get me started on Trump. Like, to be clear, with a gun to my head, you ask me which of the two major candidates is going to be better for men's health and men's issues as president, it's Harris by a landslide for a lot of reasons. We can talk about those some other time. But I am distinctly aware of the idea that the person I think that is the best candidate for men's health and men's issues has zero idea of how to address that constituency and shows zero sign of actually listening meaningfully. Which is all to say that no matter what happens on election day, I guarantee you the day after, it's going to be worse, right? You know, we're at a situation right now where people are listening or reaching out to men because, well, their votes are needed. And so I want you to consider how you're engaging with the men in your life right now. I want you to ask yourself, am I talking to them as if they are just voting machines? Am I telling them to put my needs before their own? And if that's the case, if you're a single issue voter in that way, that's fine. Sure, I get it. But do yourself a favor. Do the men in your life a favor. After Election Day, maybe decenter yourself a bit and listen to men. They've got a lot to say once they feel safe and once they know that they're heard. But please remember that regardless of what you heard or what I've said, death comes for us all, and a closed mouth never gets fed. Take care of yourselves. Vote. And remember that civic engagement doesn't end on Election Day. We'll speak again soon.